This body is more lightweight, it's a chambered body, and it's also a little bit thinner. The neck on these is so nice and slim. It's a 12-inch radius, C-shape, fits your hand perfectly. 22 medium jumbo frets. Nice cutaway up here for good high fret access. There's coil splitting and out of phase. We've got the 3-way toggle switch like all the Les Pauls. We have a lock tone ABR bridge, and it features clear speed knobs. It also features a stop bar tailpiece. The fingerboard is Indian Laurel, and the tuners are Grover Rotomatics. The neck has trapezoid inlays, and these new Les Pauls feature the brand new Kalamazoo headstock.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Hope you guys are doing good. I am doing just great. So I am here with the Epiphone Muse, and I'm going to be doing a teardown video of this, and then doing a little bit of sanding on top of that, and getting it ready for a custom paint job. So I have other guitars right now that are sitting around waiting for next stages to get into, but I ended up having to order a Alien Glow paint for one of them and jet black paint for another. So this will be a video only on this guitar instead of a combination video like I did in my last video. So let's get tearing this thing down and get it ready to be repainted. So right now would be a good time for me to kind of check to see what I have in stock over here to put locking tuners. So if I have a set of locking tuners here that I could use, that would be really good. So let's see what I have. I have a set of tuners here, and there are these 3 and 3. These are hardware tuning keys, pickups. Let's see here. These are a set of 3 and 3. So I have a set of Wilkinson's locking tuners. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of check the fit of these tuners. Kind of see if they match the hole. Yes, they do. All right. I know the Grover tuners are a good tuner, but I want to do locking, so I'm going to put this in the bag here, move all this off to the side, get back to stripping. So here's the nut, and it's bone. See, somebody either put some pencil lead in there. They were a smoker, you could tell by the color of the bone. Alright, so let's see here. Headstock is done. Flip this over. So this has a Switchcraft switch inside of it, which is very nice. Although the hole that was drilled over here was not the size for this, so I'm going to have to open that up. So now this shit here should just kind of slide right out since I have it all loosened. Cut this ground wire here. And somebody didn't do something right with this plate. Now, this plate, usually when this is on here, there would be a nut or something to adjust this so it all comes out as one piece. And it didn't do that. Now, I don't like the way that this looks here, so this is coming out as well. Kind of a crappy job as far as putting in this copper tape. Alright, so I put all the tools away, got everything cleaned up over here, and all I'm left with is just a Husk. And it's in good shape. There's really not too much as far as like dings and stuff goes. Some of this will sand out, and some scratching on it, a few little things. You can tell somebody didn't protect this when they were doing their soldering, because there's some solder spit on the sides over here on the finish. Not a big deal, because this is all going to get refinished. Neck joint is in perfect shape. There is nothing wrong whatsoever with that. Routing is pretty good, not too bad. Looks like there was a sticker in here at one time that was removed. You saw how I pulled out the sleeves. Pretty simple, pretty easy. I do have to open this hole up a little bit because there is, okay, now I see why. Somebody put a piece of carpet. Yeah, this is a piece of carpet inside of here. Huh. I guess they didn't want it to stick out a lot, so instead of putting a washer inside there, they put a piece of carpet. I've seen a lot of things before, but yeah, this kind of tops it off, seeing a piece of carpeting inside there. That's kind of funny. All right, so let's start getting sanding over here now. Alright, so I have everything laid out that I need in front of me. I've got my sanding blocks here, 2 different sizes. I have a package of 600 grit sandpaper off to the side. I've got a sanding block with 600 grit sandpaper wrapped around it for doing flat surfaces. I also have a couple pieces of sandpaper in the water is starting to curl. So the first thing that I want to do is I want to go over these edges first. And the reason being is because when I go over the flat side first and then go over the edges, well, the 2 fingers that I use to sand the edges down are going to leave a mark. So when I end up using the flat block sander, I can get rid of those marks. So I'm going to go ahead and get into there right now. I'm using a small piece of 600 grit, and what I want to do is just scuff this surface down, get it ready for paint. I don't want to go through the clear coat. I don't want to go through any of the finishing that's on here to wood, because I'm using the finish that's already on here as a primer. So I just want to thin it out a little bit and be able to accept the new paint. So here we go. So if you notice this white milky film that's on here, that is the clear coat. And that's really all that I really want to be sanding on this, is just knocking down the clear coat a little bit, thinning it out, because you know how heavy they spray these things, and have it to be a nice dull finish, flat, straight. Get rid of that watermark that's over there. And then all the edges are all nice and done. So whatever my fingers made a divot over here, and on this side, I go back with the block sanding now, and I can actually remove that divot and make it nice and flat. So that's what I'm going to end up doing right now, is hitting it with the block. Now right now you can kind of see where the finish isn't sanded flat. That's right here. There are some low spots in the original finish. Now I want to get that out because I want all this to be nice and even. So when I do the sanding, painting, and then clear coating, this will be nice and flat. Alright, so I've been sanding for a while now, and as you can kind of see, there's still a shiny spot here, there's still a shiny spot here. So that's telling me that, you know, those are some pretty low spots. And still got a little bit over here as well, if you can see that. And then I gotta go over this edge a little bit more to make it a little bit more sharper, and to kind of get that gloss finish out of that. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish that up, and then I'll start working on the face of this and the sides. Next, I'll be working on the top of this guitar, and I won't be sanding it the same way I sanded the back with the sanding block. I'll be using a flexible sanding pad with the same sandpaper. So again, it'll be 600 grit sandpaper, and I won't be sanding these edges the same way as I sanded the back. These edges are not rounded, they're sharp, so I'm going to keep them sharp. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing this. I have to be careful a little bit around all these holes and these cutouts over here. I don't want any swelling to happen around those areas. That's going to make it difficult to put the paint on here, and I'll have to resand those areas again to get that to come out. So I'm going to go ahead and start. I also want to sand the binding of this, because the binding is also going to get re-clear coated. Alright, so there's the top. Nice flat finish. Feeling around the edges over here to make sure I don't feel anything that shouldn't be there as far as a wave goes or anything else. So I've worked on enough Les Paul bodies, arch tops, to kind of feel or know what I'm supposed to be feeling when I put my hand on there. And this feels pretty good. Finish doesn't look like it's got any type of a wave or anything else. I'm not too concerned about some of the indentations in the finish from the pickup rings, because that'll be filled in with paint. And any other imperfections that are on here will be filled with paint as well. So the body, the only thing left to do is these edges over here, which I'm not going to video that because pretty simple. I'll be using this block here to do the edges. It's smaller. I can get into these round areas real easily. It's a little bit on the flex side, not really flexible, but a little bit flexible, so I can still follow, have a nice flat sanding surface, but still follow kind of where it bends over here with the binding. So I'm going to start that. So everything's masked off and ready to go. All the sanding has been complete. Binding has been taped up, including the logo on the headstock, and I'm even saving the serial number that is on the back. So what I'm going to do with this on the headstock is the same thing that I did with the Jackson Minion V Randy Rhoads guitar. I'm going to end up taking some of the black diamond, and I'm going to spray this with, and I'm going to burst it around the area where the writing is, so it'll still have like a little bit of a fog-in effect and still have the logos, so I'm not going to be painting over them. So right now I'm going to go in the garage and I'm going to fire up the spray booth and start painting. Alright, so I got 2 coats of the black diamond on there. Looking real nice. There's the headstock. So I'll put one more coat on there and then consider that done for now. Peel off all the tape and then do a clear coat over this. Came out real nice.